Hello everybody, welcome to Catherine Sews. Thank you so much for joining me today for my second weekly vlog where I'm just going to give a quick little chat about what I'm doing this week in my sewing room and just catch up with you a little bit. Okay, so I actually filmed two videos last week that I had kind of given a hint about in my first vlog. So the first thing I did was the hospital gown for my friend Esther. And it worked out so nicely, even though I didn't have enough of the fabric that I showed you. I showed you a piece of pink cotton that I had bought at FabCycle, and right away when I started to cut it, and no, I had not planned ahead, but when I started to cut it, I realized it was only 40 inches wide, and I had 2 meters or like a little bit over 2 yards, and it just wasn't enough. It just was not going to happen. So I went peeking into my stash, and literally right on top of one section of quilting fabrics, I found the perfect pink cotton, which was prettier, and it worked out just beautifully. So that video is coming out hopefully Wednesday, like the day after tomorrow. And I don't even have it here to show you because I mailed it off to her right away. She lives in Toronto. I'm in Vancouver. So I baked her a dozen chocolate chip cookies and put those in the box with the hospital gown and sent it off. If it works out well for her, or even if it doesn't, like I'll tweak whatever she needs tweaking, I'll tweak and make her maybe another one if she wants. Now, somebody suggested that I embroider or do a Cricut design, and I absolutely should have done that. But I was so late getting it to her that I just wanted to get it in the mail and send it. So I didn't do a Cricut design or an embroidery on it, but if I make her another one, I definitely will. I just need to get that done. The other thing that I did get done that I had hinted about was that little t-shirt for my son Toby where the pocket flap was flapping. I sewed just a little piece of like a little strip of Velcro in there. That worked out great. This is Toby's shirt with the flap that kept flapping up. So I just sewed a piece of Velcro in there. I didn't bother filming it because I thought that's just so easy, but I ended up having a couple of issues with it. So I kind of wish I did film it, just in the placement and everything, but there you go. It's done. I think it's pretty good. And then the best, the second video that I filmed was those patchwork jeans that I took inspo from the ones that I saw when I was thrifting with my Canadian friends from the Italy trip. And I'm crazy about those jeans. They just worked out great. So that's the next big video coming out. That should be out on hopefully Saturday. It was like a little bit bonkers how I started cutting them, but as I worked in it, I realized, there's an easier way. So I kind of show you both in that video of like the easier way to cut up your jeans. And it really wasn't that tricky of a project, and the result was fantastic. I love them. I hope you like them too. And then also in last week's vlog, I showed you that piece of white, they call it a baby rib t-shirt knit, and I said I was going to try and do like the perfect white t-shirt. To make that white t-shirt, I thought I would use the Stellan tee pattern that I had used a couple of years ago. It's the Stellan tee from French Navy, and so I'll link to that pattern company and to that specific pattern. I'll link that in the description of this video because it's been a couple of years, but I did a whole video on tweaking that particular pattern, or any t-shirt pattern really. So the first thing I do in that is just do some quick little fitting on myself just to adjust the basic fit. And then in that video I made a scoop neckline and a cap sleeve, and I thought I better retest that pattern before I cut that white fabric out of it. So I just found in my stash like just this gray t-shirt knit, and I just quickly, like literally within under an hour, my husband was having a nap on the couch, and I thought, well, I'll go make myself a t-shirt then. And so I just made this little t-shirt so fast, so nice. If you have a serger, that's just such a good project. But if you don't have a serger, two things. One is get yourself a serger, honestly. Like, look on Facebook Marketplace. There always are secondhand sergers on there because people buy them, they don't know what to do with them, and they sit there and do nothing. And you can get a secondhand serger like relatively cheap, and it's so worth it. If you can't find one secondhand, or if you just feel like splurging, then go ahead and buy yourself a new one. I bought mine, and I've said this before, I bought mine 35 years ago. I paid $750 for it 35 years ago, and it's still the greatest thing ever. So that's such a good investment, right? I have made, I'm going to say thousands of things on that serger. I don't think I'm exaggerating. And it has just paid for itself time over and over and over again. So that's the first thing is if you can buy yourself a serger. And if you can't, no big deal. You can just sew your edges with that. And I'll talk about like a stretched out zigzag, and you can definitely do it. But let that be a goal to work towards getting yourself a serger if you don't have one. You will love it. This is just the test one. I thought I would just show it to you today so that you can get yourself the Stellan tee or a different t-shirt pattern. Any basic t-shirt pattern will do. Test it out in some kind of knit that you already have in your stash that's like nothing special. Do some little fitting, like adjustments, adjust the pattern so that you're ready, and then we'll do a sew along together. So in a week or two, I'll post the video of when I actually do the white one, and I'll just take you through like how to serge it together or do your alternative, like everything on the regular machine, how to do that nice neckline edge, which I've shown recently. This time I did serge the inside edge as well, but it's just such a nice little finish. So everything is like, it's just good. It's just good, I'm telling you. So yeah, I'll give you a little bit of time to get your t-shirt pattern kind of ready, test it out, do your alterations to your pattern, and then we can do that together coming up soon. Okay, and then I've got one more t-shirt project coming in the works, and that is with all of this excess fabric that I have from doing that memory blanket. There's so much left over, and it's all like 6-inch strips across the bottom of the t-shirt below where I cut out the blocks for the blanket. And so there's just a ton left. So I've been thinking about what to do. And so I think I'm going to try playing around with piecing together strips. So I might have enough to make a skirt for his daughter and maybe a t-shirt for his wife. I don't know. I'm just going to play around with the strips and see, because I don't want to just shove this whole box of scrap into the landfill. And we used to have a textile recycling program here in the Vancouver area, but they shut it down. So it just turns into garbage, which is really sad. Okay, so that's coming up. And then I told you I would show you my progress on my embroidery. I filled in some of the centers of the flowers with a chain stitch and a running stitch. I did the little seed stitch on the tops of the antennas of the butterfly. So I can't say that I've made a ton of progress, but a little bit there and here and there, a little bit of a seed stitch in the spots on the butterfly. So it's coming, it's coming. And then another little crazy extra thing that I've been working on, and I started this literally at Christmas, is recovering or like refurbishing this stool. So this stool was in my old sewing room, and it was like a dark brown wood, and it had like a yellow and green cover, and it never was in the shot. You probably never saw it, but it was handy to have. And so the colors just did not go with the new sewing room. So I gave it a coat of paint. I have to give it another coat of paint. And then the top foam was all old and falling apart. So I got a new piece of foam. I have to cut it down to size. And then look at this fabric. Isn't that cute? This is one, like a big sample from one of those interior design samples. A big bunch of these were donated to my classroom, and so I scored one for myself, and I thought that was just really pretty, and it goes nicely with the colors in my new sewing room. So that's a job I would like to finish off this week. So I'll show you when that's done. And that's just like, you know, you wrap the fabric around tightly and staple gun it to the bottom of the wooden part of the lid, like it's an opening lid with hinges and everything. So I'll take maybe some pictures and show you in the next vlog of how that worked out. Oh, and one other thing. The next big video that I'm working on is all about the next fashion trip, which I'm incredibly excited to share with you. So I think I might just sort of tell you right now, since we're chatting, and that is that the next fashion trip is going to be here in Canada, not in the Vancouver area, because as much as I love it, it's not a fashion center. It's, you know, Vancouver is mostly known for its fleece and Gore-Tex and Birkenstocks. But our two biggest cities in Canada, Toronto and Montreal, have a load of interesting fashion museums, exhibits, designers, ateliers, great thrifting, great fabric shopping. So that's the next fashion trip. So I'm so excited to host you in my own country and show off some of our beautiful Canadian cities. We'll make a little extra trip out to Niagara Falls. If you haven't seen Niagara Falls, holy smokes, you just have no idea. It's amazing. There's the Shaw Festival in Niagara-on-the-Lake, which we'll take a little excursion to. So we'll go down there, hopefully get behind the scenes and see some of their amazing costumes. We will maybe be able to meet and visit the workshops of a couple Indigenous designers, and we'll just experience those two really great cities. I lived in Toronto for about 10 years. I love it there. It's just a big, bustling, multicultural, fun city, great restaurants. If you've never been there, it really is a great city to go and experience. And Montreal is amazing. It's in Quebec, where French is the official language. Most people, I think, do speak English, but I am brushing up on my French. That's why, by the way, that's why I'm brushing up on my French is for this trip specifically. So Montreal is one, it's like, I think the fifth oldest city in Canada. So it has a really beautiful history. It has Old Montreal, which you'll feel like you're in Europe, on really charming streets, great shopping, and again, great food. So we are going to have a good time. So if that sounds good to you, then stay posted. I will have a video out about that soon, showing more of the highlights. But if you're like already in, I will post the link in the description of this video so you can jump right in now if you want to. But more information is coming on that. So I think that's it for this week, but that's a pretty exciting week. Lots going on, and I'm always happy to share it with you. So thanks for being here with me. And so yeah, Wednesday is the hospital gown video. And then Saturday is the patchy jeans, which you're going to love those. Those are so nice. All right. So have a fantastic week. I'll see you Wednesday and Saturday, and then back here again for another vlog in a week. So until next time, I'm Catherine Sells. You take care.